Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. Today I'm going to address a email I received from a user, and it's from a parent that is really worried about their son and his narcissistic, toxic wife. And the message says, "I need some advice as a mother whose son keeps going back to his evil, narcissistic wife. I'm so worried as he has two daughters by another mother that keep getting pulled into this mess. What can I say or do to get my son to not fall for this craziness? She's saying all the right things and convincing him she is going to get counseling. Here we go again. Help. Thanks for all you do." Okay. I've actually addressed this in videos before, but the bottom line on this, and I'll link in the card above the video where I talked about this before, but you cannot make someone else see. So if your son is still stuck in the mode where he wants to save his marriage, he wants to believe the best, he wants to believe the illusions, unfortunately, you have to be very careful of how you approach this, because anything you do could potentially blow up in your face and you could actually turn yourself into the enemy. There are a lot of people on the channel who have written me either through the Discord or through email where they're struggling with that right now, where their ex, or not their ex, but their child, typically it's really weird, but it is normally, lately it's been the men, are the sons. And they are stuck. They are stuck in these relationships. They're unable to break free. And as the family tries to push them to see the reality, they actually go more towards their ex. So you have a really tough thing to do. What you could recommend some courses of actions that could potentially help them see the reality of what's going on, but it's still kind of a long shot. And the main thing on that is therapy. In your situation, you're saying that the daughter-in-law is saying that she's going to go to therapy. You should tell your son that he needs a therapist too. And you kind of keep your fingers crossed that maybe that person will recognize what's actually going on and then help him process that and deal with it. You have to be very cautious of how you interact with this and what you say, because there, like I mentioned at the beginning of this, there is a strong possibility that if you are really, really pushing to try to get that veil to be lifted over his eyes, then he may think of you as the enemy, start moving towards protecting his wife and protecting his quote unquote family and getting in closer with her. And it's really tough to watch. It's really tough to be helpless on this. And the person has to figure it out on their own. You are not going to be able to do it for them. Maybe somebody else might. Maybe there's some other mutual friend. I mean, if you know somebody who he really trusts that he can communicate with, if you could get them to try to do some type of intervention, maybe that could help. But if you've tried and it's not working, then you need to back off and let things play out a little bit and hope for him to be able to start recognizing this himself. Hopefully, since this has gone on for a couple of iterations, you can be supportive, even though you know that this is a train wreck, and keep focused on actions and words. Say, you know what, that's great. I'm glad she's going to see therapy. All you have to do is just make sure that she's following through, that the actions and words match, that whenever she's saying something, she's also doing it. If you're able to actually communicate about stuff, and to really just watch what's going on. And if you could get that little pill, pill's not the right word. If you can get that little truth kind of like burrow in his head, then there's a possibility where he might start taking a more objective view at the entire relationship and the situation, and maybe might start to see. Here's the thing. You look at my situation. It took me basically 20 years to finally start to really realize. I had epiphanies throughout the relationship and throughout the marriage where I knew something was wrong, but it would just flip back and I would fall into the love bombing and I would make excuses, and I would just, I couldn't maintain that reality. Right. So like what you're talking about, the little actions to try to demonstrate that, yes, she was trying to do something. I would believe hook, line, and sinker because I wanted to. It wasn't until the 20-year mark where things really started to degrade to the point where I was like, wait a minute, this isn't right. And somebody had I think someone had made a comment to me where, wow, this is really weird that, you're having this situation after this long a marriage. And that was the thing that really started to get me to have an objective view on it. And that's really where you're at with your son, is he has to come to the realization that something's not quite right and feel that he's done everything that he can, or like in my situation, that you deserve an opportunity to not constantly be living in this chaos. So that's my advice on that. I know it's not great because there's not some simple solution to say, oh, we'll just do this and say this and boom, it'll work every time. That's not the way it works. He's going to have to come to the realization, make that determination himself, and make that decision himself. And it's going to be annoying more than likely, because when that happens, and hopefully he will make it himself, and it won't be one of those things where his wife finally realizes, you know what, this just isn't working. I need to find a new source of supply, because she will drop him like a hot potato, and he will be standing there just shell shocked, not understanding what just happened. So I'll link to that other video, so check that out, because it kind of reiterates what I'm talking about now. And maybe I can try to see if I can put together some other videos on that. And if I can find that, I'll put that in the card to the side over here, a little playlist that might be able to help. And just be there as much as you can, and try to don't push as much as you really want to, and just wait for him to finally make that realization. All right, I'll talk with you guys on the next video. Take care. Bye.